I'm Jessie Quinn from Cup Books and welcome to Comics Corner. Today I'm talking about why I'm reading the comics I'm reading. Yes, it is a pull list video disguised as a discussion video. Don't judge me. I'm reading Ms. Marvel currently because it features a young woman of color in a leading role. It features Marvel's first Muslim character in a leading role, but beyond that, I just think it's a pretty fun book, and I really relate to the nerdy character who is our lead. She talks about the internet, and I am so for superheroes talking about the internet because I find it really amusing. This first issue is one of the best first issues I've read in the past few years. And I'm not saying that just because I really want this book to do well. No. I'm saying this because I really think this sets up its characters and its story and its setting really well. The difference with this one versus some of the other first issues I've read, particularly recently, is it doesn't leave you with so many questions that you feel disoriented. I did not feel incredibly confused. By the time I put this down, I felt incredibly excited, and that's what a first issue should do. The Movement, which is a series I've been following since the summer, and sadly it has been announced that The Movement will be cancelled after issue 12. There's a lot of comics that I read the first issues and I'm so stoked for, but after issue 4 or 5 comes out, I'm not nearly as interested, but I have pretty consistently been interested in The Movement, and I'm incredibly sad to see it go. It featured women of color in leading roles, it featured characters who were LGBTQIA, it featured characters with disabilities, and all of that stuff is stuff I want in my comic books. And I continued reading The Movement because I got really attached to the quirky characters. It also focuses on a lot of political issues, drawing inspiration from the various political movements that have been happening in this day and age. If you want to check it out before it ends, I'm not gonna stop you. Now, if I were to recommend one of the books in this list specifically for the art alone, it would have to be Black Widow. The art style is gorgeous. Aside from the artwork, the reason I decided to pick up Black Widow is because I don't know a damn thing about this character outside of the character in the film franchise. And she is the only woman superhero so far to join the Avengers in the film franchise. So I want to know more about her. Now, a title I never thought would make my pull list is Red Sonja from Dynamite. This reboot is actually proving to be a lot more fun and a lot less sexualizing than one would ever think. Yes, she still wears her chainmail bikini, though not nearly as much as I would have expected. She's mostly in clothes, like actual clothes a lot of the time. I guess I just sort of have a soft spot for warrior women because I also would like to hack things up with a broadsword. So yeah, Red Sonja on my list. Who would have thought? The last Marvel Now title that is on my list is Loki, Agent of Asgard. When the writer did that interview where they talked about how they were going to explore Loki as a bisexual and gender fluid character, I made a point of making sure I picked this one up when it premiered. I can't say that this is the highest priority comic book wise, but it definitely made my pull list in terms of print issues. Finally, a series that I've been keeping up with since its beginning a few years ago, and that is Batgirl in the DC Comics New 52. Even when I stick with what I know best, which is the Bat family and the Justice League, I do tend to pick titles that feature women in leading roles because that's what I want to be reading, and Batgirl fits into that nicely. It certainly is pretty dark and gruesome at times, given that it's a Gotham title, but that's why I've got all the lighter reads. Now, there are plenty of comics that I buy the bind-ups for, or I check out digitally instead of buying print, but these are the comics that I personally am buying the print issues for the reasons I just described.